I am going to try to demystify the street system of Queens in the next few minutes for you, because if you've ever been over there, you'll know that you have roads and places and drives and avenues and terraces that can all have the same number. Okay, when Queens joined New York City in 1898, there were over 80 different villages and municipalities that had to be joined together. So the Queens Borough President tried to unify their grid system as much as possible. The grid is going to be the opposite of what it is in Manhattan. So in Manhattan, your streets run roughly east-west, and then your avenues run north-south. In Queens, it's the exact opposite. Avenues run roughly east-west, and streets run north-south. However, when they laid out this grid system, there was an understanding that at some point there are going to be modifications to it. So what we have are sort of an order in which new streets are named. So if you have a smaller east-west road isn't fully going, outside of the neighborhood, or it's only running for a few blocks, rather than call this an avenue, we're just going to call this 20th Road. If you have another subsequent street that follows that same pattern, that then becomes 20th Drive. And then if you have even another one, that becomes 20th Terrace. And usually that's the last thing before you hit the next avenue. Now the same thing is going to happen for our rough north-south streets. So if we have 17th Street here and 18th Street here, and we have these two sort of single block cut-throughs, what this becomes is 17th Place, and then this one would become 17th Lane. And it's always going to follow that pattern as new streets are added. Now, there is a type of road that totally throws this all into chaos. So if we have one that literally cuts through diagonal and squiggles and does like that, that is usually a boulevard. There are always exceptions to rules like this, right? Probably 80% of Queens, though, is going to follow this. But you also have roads that have their own names. And if you go down to the Rockaways, you'll see repeating street numbers. They just add beach to that to indicate that it's down in the Rockaways. So hopefully, after seeing this, you have a slightly better idea of how to navigate and understand why you might see a gazillion different street names with the same number, but different endings to each.